championships as an Ohio State Buckeye. But but also for your leadership and for your presence and for your willingness to inspire people all across our state. Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor. What a great evening. The sun is shining. This morning it didn't look like it was going to be quite this nice, but you know, the sun always shines in downtown Akron. And I don't know where, is it Max Greer was it Max that gave me the book? Mark. Is Mark still here? So Mark showed me the book of our 200-year, our silver anniversary of the city of Akron. And it dawned on me 50 years ago, in the 150th anniversary, is when I came to the University of Akron and they gave me my first chance. And you think about what's going on in this community, and you think about sitting in this beautiful venue overlooking an unbelievable ballpark, and it's really extraordinary. And as we've traveled around the state, one thing that is very apparent to me is, like in history, whether it was 50 years ago or today or whenever it was, pendulums swing. Just the way life is. And at this particular moment, the pendulum has swung toward Ohio. In the last 8 to 10 years, 63 companies have decided to leave the East Coast to the West Coast to either begin here or expand here. Extraordinary opportunities. Well, like anything else, you better take advantage of your opportunities.
Yep.
And what's fun has been getting around the state and seeing if we have the things in place and how can we help get the things in place so that we can grab this opportunity. Because the thing that made this region of the country great is still the case. Our location is unbelievable. We have a great lake, rivers. We've got more energy under our feet than most. Tremendous work ethic. Our location, I think 20-some% of all ground freight goes right through Youngstown, Warren, Akron. All of those things are still in place. And now the pendulum has swung back with unbelievable opportunities. Well, how do you take advantage of those? Well, it begins with leadership. And this room is full of leadership. And this room is full of the people who, when the pendulum maybe wasn't quite as great, they weren't going to abandon the fight. They were going to keep the faith. And so we've got tremendous leadership. It was brought up about the housing thing. Hey, housing, as we go around the state, there are certain barriers that we've got to make sure we take care of so that we can get the workforce that we need. We have, by 2032, about 540,000 jobs in the state of Ohio we need to fill, more than we're filling right now. And one of the biggest barriers is housing. To make sure that we keep our Buckeyes, and I met a lot of you that grew up right here in Akron area, Ohio. And I also met a pretty young blonde, came from Idaho, and one handsome guy back there came from Connecticut. And so we've got to attract people, and they've got to have housing. And so we've got to make sure we get at that. So, John, what you guys are doing, unbelievable. This is going to be huge for our region. Another thing we've got to make sure we do is we've got to have the quality of life. And that's why the rubber ducks being here. Ken, what you've done here to make such a difference in our downtown, the quality of life, sports, the arts, parks and recreation. We were talking to someone about the towpath dreams that we have. Dan Rice around here somewhere. You know, there's so, but we've got to have a quality of life. So we have to have that leadership. We've got to have housing. We've got to have that quality of life. And I'll tell you another thing we're running into, that as we assess what's it going to take advantage of these opportunities we have in Ohio right now, is we've got to figure out some transportation things. Because transportation is a little bit of a problem. We've got to work a little bit more on health, child care. There's some child care barriers because we need, as the governor said in the State of the State, we need every Ohioan to help us meet this workforce opportunity that we have today. And so this is an unbelievable gathering. So many folks I've known for a long time. I've met a lot of new friends. They said they clocked my pitch at just under 90. And thank goodness that guy had a good scoop at the bottom. But he told me the guy tried to go down and we struck him out. But what a thrill it is to be here and to be with all of you and just to remind one another that we have an opportunity right now in this state, in this region, with the leadership we have and the good folks that know what we need to do to create that quality of life and that housing and those transportation, education. We know what we need to do. Now it's a matter of we have to go out and do that. And I'll end with this. You know, sometimes when times are tough, you know, you're nervous, even though you're preparing and you figured out, here's what we need to do. We got the people we need to do it, but you're still a little nervous. And every Saturday for 25 years, we were always nervous every time we went out into the field. No matter how hard we worked, no matter how well prepared we thought we were nervous. And so the last thing we said to one another is the last thing I'll say to you here this evening, just to remind each other what we need so that we don't need to be nervous. And it was a little poem by Edward Everett Hale. And the poem had like 8 verses. We were a football team. We did 1 verse. Not going to sugarcoat it, okay? But the one verse that we always reminded ourselves before we took the field on those nervous moments was one that if you went to any of our players today, they'd be able to say it to you right now. And it goes like this: I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. And that I can do, I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I shall do. And really, that's all we need. If we'll all do whatever role that is, we're going to be just fine. And that pendulum's going to come swing through. And we're going to grab a hold of it, and we're going to take advantage of that opportunity. Thanks so much. God bless. And usually I say, go Bucks, go Ducks.
Lieutenant Governor, we have just a little something